What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our channel, The IncrediFam, where we talk about health, fitness, and family. Today's episode, we are going to talk about the biggest advantage in youth sports that no one is talking about. I'm going to give you 3 good tips that you guys can utilize. So I hope you guys like this. I actually really like this. Okay, advantage number 1, mindset. Seems simple enough, right? For most people that are adults, but for children, they don't see it. And usually parents, when they're dealing with their kids, the first thing they focus on is the physicality. Like, is my kid fast? Is my kid strong? Is my kid, able to keep up with the sport? Why doesn't he swing the bat fast enough? I need to get him on with the special strength and conditioning coach because his footwork isn't good and he's not explosive. These are all these things that parents automatically think. But in actuality, the key that I've seen, I've been a youth coach for many, many years, actually starting back in the late 90s. I started coaching youth football, and I've been coaching ever since. So it's been a long time. I've gone through a lot of kids and a lot of children. A lot of the kids that I've coached have went on to play college and played in high school, did really, really well. I coached my nephews. They did extremely well in high school as well. I went on to play college as well. And what I've noticed over time is that the kids with the best, most solid mindset as a foundation tend to do the best. Now, what does that mean, mindset? It means they have to truly understand how the game is mental, right? I had a coach a long time ago tell me, mental is to physical as 4 is to 1. He used to say this, one of our football coaches. He said, mental is to physical as 4 is to 1 in the game. And I remember thinking about that because it's something that you have to kind of hear a few times until you can figure out what it means. And what he meant by it was, you have to be 4 times as smart as you are strong to be the best player you can be. And so I really took that to heart. And I thought to myself, okay, that's the mindset that I had, is I have to put in the time to be smarter than everybody else. And I still have to go work out. I still have to do the physical parts of my sport. But at the same time, I really can't neglect the mindset for me was, I know that I can be the best that I can be if I do A, B, C, and D. And that is really, truly up to me. So creating that positive mindset where the kids have faith and they know that they can be great at whatever it is they're doing is foundational. It's something that is going to give your child an advantage. So really starting to talk to your child about that mindset, about the going as hard as they can, the no matter what mentality. They're just going to keep going no matter what. They're going to keep pushing until they reach their goal. Mindset is really, really great, and it's something that a lot of coaches and a lot of parents definitely do not stress. They really focus too much on the actual games themselves, and they don't spend any time on the mindset. So if your child is doing those other things and they're getting better in their actual sport and they're doing the things they have to do and they're working on their mindset, they're going to have an advantage over every single kid that's on that field. So really, really focus on their mindset and getting that mindset right. Tip number 2, sports IQ and awareness. Now, this is key. I'm sure whatever sport you love, you can watch that sport and you can find guys that physically have no business being where they are or as successful as they are. Different types of athletes where you're like, that guy's way too small to be, he's way too slow, he's way too this. There's all these excuses for him not to be successful. And the reason why they are as successful as they are is because of their sports IQ, in my opinion, as part of their success. Obviously, they work hard. Obviously, they do all those things to get better in their sport. But at the same time, I guarantee you their sports IQ and awareness of what's going on is a huge contributing factor to their success. Now, for me, as a youth football coach, and I've been coaching a little bit of soccer, although I'm not the greatest soccer coach, but I do understand the mentality. So understanding the game, like knowing where kids are supposed to be, what's going to happen, what's the possibility of happening based upon where somebody's lined up, how they're looking, like all these different things, understanding that and having that sport IQ makes your athlete that much better. I have, 3 little athletes in my family. I have 4 children. One with special needs, so she plays music as opposed to sports because she can't really see the way the rest of us do. But my other ones, all my other 3 kids, all of them have a really, really high awareness and a high IQ. And the reason they have that is because as a father and as a coach, they have the added benefit of their father being a coach and their mother being an athlete as well. So we speak to them about IQ. We speak to them about, what did you see? What's the possibility? What could have happened? Why did you make that pass? Well, did you look up and see what else was available? Like, where are they supposed to be? If you come up, are you going to draw defenders to you? Then it's better to make the pass, or just make the pass automatically as soon as you get the ball? Like, what's the better decision? So understanding the game And being able to relay that information to them is what's going to make them that much more successful. They'll be aware of what's going on. They'll be aware of the possibilities. And it's like having the answers to a test before the test. Literally, your kids' self-esteem will rise, their play will rise, their confidence will rise. All these things will rise because they're educated. They know. The biggest fear that a lot of people have in anything in life is not knowing, is that we don't know what's going to happen. So think about it. If your child can get on the field and know the probability of what's going to happen based upon the circumstance of where they are in the field, how much more successful do you think they're going to be? And a bigger question than that, how many people are they playing that are also aware of all those things? Very, very minimal. Not a lot of people. So if you know those things, share them with your child. If you don't know those things, find the answers. Right? Do some research, get online. You can find a good coach, or you can just go on YouTube. The internet's amazing. It has tons of great resources. Find those things and then have it's actually a really good way for you to bond with your kids and share that information and help them become better aware of what sport they're in and what can and can't happen. Create their sports IQ, level it up, get their awareness up, and I guarantee you your child is going to have a much better experience. They're going to be much better prepared, and they're going to be a much better athlete. Tip number 3. Focusing on the positive and the progress and not on the negative. I don't know how to say this other than you can yell at a kid as many times as you want. And although there are some kids that are going to be able to take that and be able to actually let it motivate them to move forward, most of them don't. Right? So for me, it's always been about praising what they did right. Even if you're let's say you're doing a drill with them, some kind of drill. For me, again, it's football is the sport that I play. So let's say that we're doing a tackling drill. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the drill. I'm going to tell them exactly why it's important, what we're focusing on, what's the goal, what are we trying to hit. And once they get all that down and I make sure that they're all clear, because that's the biggest thing when you're teaching somebody something, make sure they're clear on what it is they're trying to do. Then you get into the mastery of it, right? Then you get into the technique. Then you get into the actual practice and the repetitions to make that better. The last thing you want to do when you have a kid do a tackle, like let's say the kid's doing a tackling drill, he comes in, he drops down, his head's on the wrong side, he's too low, he's not exploding, he has all these things that he's doing wrong. The last thing you want to do is scream at that kid, "What are you doing? I can't believe it. I just told you. You just said you knew that." That kind of stuff, that belittlement is really pushing your athlete down and your child down and taking away from their self-esteem. And you're kind of closing them off to really being able to take any training that you're trying to give them or anything that you're trying to teach them in. So what I like to do is focus first on anything that I can find positive. So it's like, hey, you know what? I really like the way that you attacked the line of scrimmage. I really like the way you got there quickly. You didn't hesitate. That was great. But here's what we need to do that we need to do better. And then you start to go into what it is that they didn't do right. Because if you do that, now they trust that, okay, he's praising me. So subconsciously, they're automatically thinking that you're on their side, which you are. You're the coach, right? You're supposed to be on their side. And sometimes it can be frustrating as a coach to be teaching something over and over and over again and a child not get it. But if you're much more on the praise side than on the being critical side, the child's going to open up so much more. And it's funny because what you'll find, and I've found this over many, many years of coaching, is that kids that you thought maybe were inadequate, didn't have this, they didn't have that, the longer you keep them around, the more they tend to love the game. The more, some people are just late bloomers. You know, they're going to end up getting it. Their IQ is high because you're coaching them. Their confidence is high because you're leading with praise. If you're doing these things, those kids are going to surprise you. And so that's really what I love. I love to see the kids that actually don't start out strong, end up becoming extremely confident and extremely aware, and it does something to the child. And there's nothing greater in any sport, in my opinion, than raising the confidence level of a child to where they really believe they can do what you say they can do. And when they have that belief, that translates into school. It translates into everything else they do. They become a much better person because they're happier, they're more confident, and that's something that every single person can utilize. So tip number 3, make sure that we are leading with praise. Find something that you can praise before you be critical of what they're doing. And always bring the criticalness in very softly. You know, yelling and screaming is not going to work. And don't get me wrong, I've done it in the past. Everybody has their fuse. We all have it. I'm just saying, really focusing on our intention as parents, and as coaches, if you happen to be one, on really praising your kid. If your kid comes home, praise them. Hey, I thought you did really, really well today. I love the effort that you gave. But you know what I noticed is that, on this play you kind of did this, and on this play you kind of did that. So you can go and lead with praise and then come back in with some critical things they might want to think about. That'll help your child be a much, much more effective person and a much more effective athlete. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you like what we have on the channel, the different types of things that we're doing, please hit the subscribe button below. Share this with anybody who you may think might get some value out of it. And don't forget to comment. Leave us some comments. Ask us questions. Anything you'd like us to talk about, any opinion you'd like to know that we have on a certain subject, please leave that in. By no means are we, the ends all be all to parenting or coaching or any of this kind of stuff. We're just sharing our experiences with everybody out there in YouTube land in the world, and we'd love to collaborate back and forth with everybody. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next video.